Airborne dust is a serious health hazard on site. We've been working with Balfour Beatty to design and build best practice guides for dust control on construction sites.
My name's Ian Strudley. I'm an occupational health and hygiene specialist with Balfour Beatty.
Ian was with us on site as part of his role in promoting best practice in dust control within Balfour Beatty.
We've worked with RVT on a number of sites now, and the thing I like about RVT is the simple principle of capture, contain, control.
We need to capture the dust as close to source as possible, making sure that we're catching all the dust that is coming off the work activity.
If we get those extraction systems as close as possible to where we're doing dusty tasks, whether it be drilling, whether it be sanding down, whether it be cutting materials as well, usage of extraction systems help actually control the things at source.
Contain is around protecting those working around us. So we're talking about enclosures, we're talking about sheeting off an area, or using one particular room for your work activity. And with control, we're talking about further engineering controls to manage any residual dust.
The controls we're using here today are simple to use, very manoeuvrable, and actually make sure that we actually control hazards like dust and noise on site.
So as part of our risk assessment, we need to consider the hierarchy of controls. Can we avoid creating the hazard in the first place? If you can't eliminate the hazard or substitute it with a safer material, then it's time to look at engineering controls such as local exhaust ventilation, dust extraction, things like that.
Things like today, simple things like making sure that we don't brush up dust, we don't use a broom anymore.
Trying to dispose of dust by sweeping up will only make matters worse because it lifts the dust back into the air.
We can use a vacuum system to effectively control that dust.
Basically, we're keeping the hazard away from the people. Then we can look at administrative controls, where we're trying to keep the people away from the hazard. And then finally, we've got the PPE. This is the last line of defence. It relies on people using it correctly to protect them. In addition to these controls, it's well worthwhile using personal area monitoring to ensure that you're not exposing people to more than the workplace exposure levels.
This best practice videography that we've been putting together, I think the beauty of doing something like that, it illustrates how we can get that message across through the supply chain to make sure that we raise awareness of how you are exposed to health risks, but then importantly how we control that exposure to health risks all through the supply chain. I joined Balfour Beatty 4 years ago now, and before that I had just over 25 years as an inspector with a health and safety executive. I can truthfully say, that in 2021, construction is a far safer, a far healthier environment. We've made enormous strides in improving safety risk management, and health risk management's still got a little way to go, but we're not quite there yet. And I think by collaborating with companies like RVT and using their extraction systems, using portable LEV kit, using on-tool extraction as well, that reduces our reliance so much on respiratory protection. Wouldn't it be wonderful if we get to a day where we don't need to stick disposable respirators on our faces, because the controls that we can now use are so effective to provide us with that confidence that we're not actually going to be breathing in all these nasty hazardous dusts.
All this equipment is providing a strategic defence, because here at RVT Group we're all about protecting people and our environment.